Throughout history, it seems we've studied that groups of people come together and to form civilizations. And all these people usually are surrounding themselves with a mission, with an idea. And these groups of people, they always agree with one another in some way, shape, matter, or form. Especially in Athens, they had a belief in democracy, that people had the right to vote, that people ultimately would seek the value and the betterment of all people. Well, that don't always work. They also had developments in Sparta with the idea of only a ruling elite would control and make laws and control, ultimately decide the way the society is going to function. And those two ideas actually went to war during this time called the Peloponnesian War. It lasted something around like 27 years. And ultimately democracy failed. And throughout history, democracy usually fails in some matter or form. Direct democracy always fails. And just the idea of a democracy where the people have a say in the way things function is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. People are the most vicious, cruel things that exist. People only destroy other smaller groups of people. That's what happened in Athens. The majority eventually oppressed and suppressed the smaller groups of people, the minority groups. And specifically, a group of people they started to suppress and to ultimately kill and kick out of Athens were philosophers, such as Socrates. Socrates they ultimately killed. They made him drink poison, forced him to drink poison. And now we get to the point where in today's society that anybody who speaks out against the overall consensus of what is right and wrong, we shun them. We turn off their social media. We shun them out of public buildings. We try to almost kill them, in a sense. Pretty much bring them down to they're insignificant and they should be disbanded from society. This is normal, though. People are acting like this is the new trend. It's always happened. It happened in Greece. It happened in Rome. It's happened throughout history, and it's just the idea that it was the idea of America being different. The first nation, the first civilization, the first nation to build itself off of the people, the idea, the thoughts of the minority, the thoughts of a minority of people having a say in government, having a say in how society should be run. And ultimately that has somewhat worked. Things have progressed in a sense, maybe. Depends on your definition of progress. During the progressive movement, they had the women's suffrage trying to get rid of alcohol. Ultimately, that didn't really work out, but because crime went through the roof. But ultimately, America has a sense of trying to make better. America is ultimately trying to be the light of the world. And the amount of people saying that America is horrible and terrible, clearly have never read a history book. Ever. Or been to any other country in the world. Because there's other countries in the world that will suppress people's speech. I think it was in 1961, two Portuguese students raised their glasses to freedom, and they were actually imprisoned for 8 years. This is in Portugal. And they were imprisoned, and it went around the world that a British lawyer actually heard about this case, and it spread around the world of trying to free these two men. And it was known as Amnesty Worldwide. And this we see in America as a normal thing, we take our freedoms for advantage. We take our liberties for advantage. And it seems a lot now that we're losing sight of what is America. What is it? And I think we have too much. We we let loose the powers to be and gave too much control to these minority groups such as the LGBTQ, such as Black Lives Matter, to try to persuade and ultimately suppress other thoughts. Why do we do this? We're letting groups of people decide other people's thoughts through violence, and the whole ideology and thinking about this is your words are violence, but my violence is words, or something along the lines of your speech is violence, but my violence is speech, and that shouldn't be the case. Violence should never be the answer. Violence only leads to more violence. It's like digging a hole. You dig a hole, a small hole at first, thinking it's going to get rid of whatever's there. But eventually you keep digging, because you think you're going to get yourself out of the problem, and all you do is just dig yourself into a bigger problem. And I think that's where we've gotten to in society, that we've tried to dig up the past to try to fix it, and all it's done is make it worse. We try to dig up the past and try to right the wrongs of the past, and all it did was re-emerge old problems. Like this whole slavery incident of trying to reparations for slavery has only made division worse. This whole ideology with Black Lives Matter, that trying to fix the ills of the justice system with ultimately more violence. Do they not see that? They're trying to bring peace through violence. It only leads to more violence. It just seems strange to me. It does. And then they try to abolish guns and try to take guns away, like that's going to get rid of violence, and it doesn't. People are violent. In the Bible, it's the original sin was murder. When Cain killed Abel in the Bible, it was with a rock. And I know people are going to pretty much say that, oh, the Bible's not always true. It's written up and it's not ultimately that factual. It's actually pretty factual. It's one of the most factual books ever written. And I'm not particularly religious. I'm just taking from a historical perspective, where I read the Bible from a historical perspective, and it's pretty accurate to where, compared to other history books, it's pretty accurate to the sequence of events leading into the world. As far as the timeline, it's different because it's just simply we don't understand it. The guidance of how long the Earth's been around, was not comprehended at the time of the Bible being written. And it just seems that we've lost track of what is important and what is not important. And simply to look back of what do you stand for? But if you stand for all these causes, Black Lives Matter, with all these different causes of the environment, with the illegal immigration, trying to protect all of these people coming through that we don't know who they are, and you try to align yourself with these people who ultimately just trying to use you to push their own agenda. And you'll realize 30, 40 years from now, you wasted your life. I'm not saying don't find a cause that you're not passionate about, but find a cause for a reason. Reason and logic is what leads people to do great things. Not emotion. Emotion will lead you nowhere. Emotion will lead you to be broke, because you will spend everything you have in order to make this feeling, to give you this feeling of accomplishment, or feeling of just a sense of feeling good about yourself, your self-esteem. And it's not going to lead you anywhere. It's not going to lead to happiness. It's not going to lead you to success. So ultimately, find a cause you're willing to put yourself into and a set of beliefs that you know will lead you to be a better person. So ultimately, try to research more about what you want to believe in. Research, listen, learn. That's very hard for people to do these days because they only want instant gratification. They want instantly to know what to believe and what not to believe. Instead, take the time, learn, research, and plan on how you want to believe and what you're going to believe in this life. Hope you liked what you heard, and let me know if you disagree. Like and comment. Please subscribe, and see you next time.